I love to
You
do
good?
that. Yeah.
Well, let's start with this tweet from Chris Cook. See if I can, do we have a poll? We ask our viewers for questions for our guests on a regular basis, and we got a load of tweets similar to this. Connor McDavid, you're pretty awesome. How awesome is it to be as awesome as you are? Like, that must be pretty awesome, right?
It's pretty awesome, yeah. No, that's a funny tweet. I really appreciate that.
Actually, we know you're not disposed to talking about yourself. You prefer to leave that to others. So this debate about who is the best player in the NHL, is that all just noise to you?
Yeah, it's just noise. Obviously you want to put your name in the hat, and there's a lot of different guys that could be the best player in the world. It's all up for debate. Depends what player you like, but in my opinion, it's still Crosby.
Well, yes, and you are being affirmed on an almost daily basis by other players, including Sidney Crosby this week. He says that you're the best player in the NHL right now, so how could Crosby have known the 15-year-old kid in this picture with he and Mario Lemieux would one day become his pick as the best? But surely you heard, and I know you did, what Crosby had to say about you this week. What'd you think?
Yeah, it means a lot. Obviously, he's a guy that I grew up watching. I remember that pick. I think I was shaking in my shoes. I was so nervous just to meet both of them and Sid. Obviously, it's pretty funny to look back on, but it means so much to hear it come from him.
Tonight's game, Louis.
Yeah, a real tough test tonight. We were talking a little bit before we came onto the air, and you said, those guys battle hard. They're a real good team. But for you personally, they really seem to, as a five-man unit, really try and take care of you tonight.
Yeah, they're a solid team, honestly, all over. I mean, you look at their defense. They got 6 guys back there that are unbelievable, and then up and down the lineup, they got guys that work and back check and do such a good job checking. It's tough to get something going, but I thought we had our chances. They got 2 good goalies as well, so we got the backup tonight, and he was able to get a shutout. So credit to them.
Connor, you underlined your brilliant start to the season by leading your team to a stirring come-from-behind win against Winnipeg on Tuesday night, and we saw something from you in that game that, we didn't think we had seen before, and I'll let Louis take it from there because he called the game.
Well, you know what? You never know, really, to be honest with you, Connor, whether some of the things you do are on purpose or not on purpose. And this one here, the drop pass or fumble to Ty Ratty for his first goal of the year, was that on purpose or was that an accident?
I would love to tell you it was on purpose, but it was an accident. I was trying to shoot it far side, and Mo did a good job getting his stick in there, and Ty did a good job following it up. So. I'd love to tell you it was on purpose, but it's definitely an accident.
But there's someone who disagrees with you wholeheartedly, and that's your longtime skills coach, Joe Quinn, who says that was definitely a move by Connor McDavid.
No, sorry to disappoint him, but right. No, it was a mistake.
Tweet from Travis Brothers. Who's the toughest defenseman to play against?
It's got to be, a couple guys on Nashville. Yossi skates so well; he's tough to play against. Obviously, Doughty. I think it's Doughty. He skates so well. He jumps in the rush. He can hurt you offensively.
He's physical too, eh?
He's physical. He's tough. He's chatting with you at all times too. So he's letting you know that he's doing a good job shutting you down, or he's letting you know what you're doing wrong. So he's definitely a real tough matchup.
We saw a side of you we have not seen before in last month's GQ spread. And we have the video here. Did this take you out of your comfort zone?
That is as far out of my comfort zone as you'll see me. Definitely not my style, but
looks good.
GQ does wonders. I think I look all right.
You look great.
Yeah, they did a lot of work on me.
Well, how did it work? Did the photographer show you the pose first, do it himself, and then get you to mimic it, or did any of that come naturally? Yeah,
no, it was a lot of the photographer do this, do that, and he would do it, and I'd be like, wow, that looks so good. And I would get in the position, and it would just be so awkward. I would feel so awkward, but sure enough, he said it would look good in a picture, and it turned out good.
Let's have a look at a few of the pictures. I'm particularly struck by, I think it's the last one we'll see here. It's the thinker pose. What were you thinking during that pose?
I was thinking how bad I want to get out of the pose, probably. They did a great job, honestly. Everyone, the photographer, the makeup artist, the hairdo person. Yeah. I mean, it was all the work.
Did you get to keep the clothes?
No, they were just rentals.
Yeah.
GQ is all about style, and in the interview portion in the magazine, you said you didn't have any style when you got to the NHL. How did you find out you had no style?
The boys do a good job of letting you know that you got no style. I remember playing with Teddy Purcell and he was always all over me. You know, we had a bunch of older guys that hounded me. I remember I showed up to my first road trip and had an Erie Otters duffel bag, big Erie logo on it.
You would have got razzed about
that. And these guys are all walking around with the Louis Vuittons, whatever they got, and you know they hounded me about that pretty good.
How do you grade your style now?
5 or 6. It's about half. There's guys that are not as aggressive as PK, but I'm definitely not, you know, as non-stylish as Chris Russell.
Okay, here's a tweet from
right into the box.
a little shade on Chris Russell. Tweet from Reese Drake. Ask him where he bought this suit, and this is just about as far away from GQ as we can possibly get.
Yeah, that was our player of the game suit for you know, my last season in junior. You know, the player of the game got to wear the suit out. You know, and it. You know, the guys did a good. You know, we would post pictures or do whatever. It's pretty funny looking back on it. Pretty good idea actually.
Photoshop of today's players and what they might have looked like in the 80s and 90s has been going around. This is what you might have looked like back then. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I'm trying to grow the hair out right now, but I might have a tough time with the mustache there.
Louis.
looks pretty good. You know what? We talk a lot about you on the ice and obviously what you do on the ice because that's what we see. But what do you like to do off the ice here around Edmonton in your spare time? There's not a lot of it lately, but when you have time to just kind of relax and chill, what do you do?
Yeah, it's just relax. You know, we're trying to enjoy the weather while we got it here now because it doesn't last long. It gets cold here pretty quick, but you know, we're a young team and you know, guys are always together and doing whatever, going out for dinner and having a good time. So you know, there's not a ton to do here in Edmonton, but we make the most of it.
Connor, you can warm the hearts of fans here. We have some video of an outing that you made. This is to do, I think, with your affiliation with CIBC. You set out to surprise some young kids, and the look on their faces says it all. Let's look and listen for a second.
Yeah, no, I remember that day. It was a really fun day with CIBC. You know, we kind of toured around. We went to the rink. We went to a couple firehouses, and you know, just give back to the community. I mean, they do so much for us as players, and you know, it's important that we give back to the community, whether it's time or whatever. Just you know, to see the look on their faces in that video, it you know, means a lot. Well,
there was one other player in Oiler history who could do that, get that kind of reaction. I'm interested in a quote from you. You said not that long ago, you need to be conscious here of doing something daily to make a kid's day.
Yeah, you know, we always have a chance to do something. You know, whatever, we're always out in you know, at the grocery store, pumping gas, whatever. We get recognized everywhere we are. So if you can take a second to take a picture, say hello, or do something. You know, I always try. You always got stuff going on where sometimes you're in a rush and you can't, but you always got to try. I think we're in a unique position where we can make someone's day just about every day you're in Edmonton, so you know, we try to make the most of it.
So let's forget this debate among media and fans about who the best player in the NHL is. Your peers say it's you, and they've said that for the last 2 years by naming you the winner of the Ted Lindsay Trophy. It goes to the league's MVP as selected by the players. And when you made your acceptance speech, you singled out Ted Lindsay.
Next to Mr. Lindsay himself, to what he's meant for the players, what he's done for the PA, you know, we wouldn't be here without him. So thank you to him. To my teammates, I owe everything to you guys. I love you guys and can't wait to get back at it with you, to my family.
So you revealed yourself, Connor, to be a student of the history of the NHL. Yeah. What do you know about Ted Lindsay?
Yeah, I mean, obviously his on-ice stuff, he was way before me. I don't know much about what he did on the ice, but obviously he was a tremendous player and a Hall of Famer. And but I know about what he did off the ice, and you know, he started the PA and gave the players a voice. And you know, we owe a lot to him as players today, where you know, the owners can't just do what they want. We have a voice, and we have you know, we can stick up for ourselves.
Perfect. Because not a lot of players of your era would even know who Ted Lindsay is. Would you mind if we brought a special guest in here now?
Sure, I'd love to.
All right, Brian McDavid is here, your father. He wants to join us for a second. We'd love to have you on the program. Aaron's got the microphone for him. So, Brian.
Hey, how are you?
Good to see you. Come on in here.
Get in
You can sit here beside me, so I'll stand up here beside you.
So the story goes, Brian, that when Connor was a tot, maybe a bit older, you said to your wife, Kelly, repeatedly, this kid is something special. And she constantly said to you, yeah, every kid's going to go to the NHL, just get real here. And finally, when he was 14, she realized you were right. Do I have it right?
You have it. I think you have it mostly right. You know, Connor was, you know, obviously very motivated when he was younger. And actually, the really interesting story is when he was, I think, probably about 5 or 6, he would say to Kelly, and this was right around the time Sidney Crosby had, you know, sort of broken into the league. And had gone to Shattuck, and so I think Connor was 5 or 6 and said that he was going to go to Shattuck when he was 14. He was going to be drafted first overall in the OHL, and he was going to be first overall in the NHL. And he basically had his whole career already mapped out for him when he was about 5 or 6. So we had an idea pretty early that's what he wanted to do.
And he was right about everything.
He's been
so never question Connor again.
Yeah, we don't question him often now.
What do you make of his start to the season?
It's been a heck of a start. You know, the game in Winnipeg was fantastic. You know, I think it's been tough on the team though. You know, the travel to Europe, and then you know I think they spent 5 days in Boston, and you know that's kind of tough. And to get back here in the West and to get going at home, I think it's been a real important thing for them. And I know they got a couple of tough games coming up, so hopefully they can put tonight behind them and get going on Tuesday.
You speak after every game like a lot of fathers and sons in the NHL and tell Connor what he might have done better?
Oh, no, we don't do that. We do text after every game, though. I send him a message just to see how he's doing and did a little, you know, things about the game, you know, that sort of thing. But, you know, it's been a long time since I've told him, you know, how to play, so he understands how to do it.
Brian, thanks for coming on the program. Really appreciate it. And Connor, good to have you on After Hours, your second appearance on this program, and many more to come unless you're sick of us, and we hope that isn't already the case.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Connor McDavid, our guest on After Hours, back to say goodnight from Rogers Place in a moment.